Alrighty, how's it going? Time for some coding, eh? So, I've been doing some thinking through the week. And it's some interesting thinking, I reckon. So, as the game stands now, I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of plans for this game going in. I sort of just wanted to rebuild my first game and make it better, you know? The original game was called Built to Protect. And just because I'm an uncreative dumbass, I went with Rebuilt to Protect for the remake. You know, right? Makes sense. I had some ideas last night that actually made all of this fall into place like puzzle pieces. Alright? So imagine, I don't know how good I'm going to be at it. This is the first time I've actually had a conversation this morning. I don't know how great I'm going to be at talking. Oh my god, it's 2 p.m. Holy shit, it's Mother's Day. Okay, never mind. Alright, so, imagine, the player is controlled by a robot, is a remote controlled robot, right? So you have basically like taken the enemies that we have. This doesn't count, this is a brute. Eventually all the enemies are going to be robots. Variations of different robots that come down and try and beat the shit out of you. This is more, if you haven't seen it before, this is basically what we're basing this entire thing off. The original enemy from the original game looks like this. Like that. Make sense? So, imagine the game. Jesus Christ, I'm really not good at explaining this so far. But alright, so the entire point of the game is that you are just a dude hanging out here for some reason, and a bunch of robots are coming to try and kill you, right? So, I've changed the idea. So that imagining you are like hidden somewhere, like down under here or something, right? You have like a secret base, and you have like a remote controlled robot that you send out to defend the base. The idea is going to be that the player is a remote controlled robot. Enemies can then drop parts. Those parts can be used between rounds to upgrade the player and the weapons. And then special enemies drop blueprints that unlock new upgrades and are persistent through different playthroughs. So in the same way that you would have like a Vampire Survivors game or something like that, which is sort of what we're basing this off, like a round-based game where you're getting upgrades and, you know, fighting harder and harder enemies as the rounds go on. I don't know. Like, imagine the first playthrough. Sorry, I'm explaining this terribly. So, like, imagine the first playthrough, right? You only have basic upgrades that you can use. You can do, like, maybe, like, damage increase and maybe, like, a fire rate increase. You know, like, basic upgrades like that. And then maybe you get to round 5 on the first playthrough and you defeat the first brute. You know, something like that. And then he drops a special blueprint so that when you die in round 6 or 7, when it gets a bit harder, you then have homing ammunition unlocked for the next round. So then the next time you play through, it's you know, like, it's progressive. So there's actual game progression in that regard, which I think works really well for sort of the infrastructure that we're sort of trying to set up. And then the plus side of that is that now that the player is like hidden remote controlling a robot, the Rebuilt to Protect name actually makes sense. It's taking these enemy robots, taking the shit from them, rebuilding their parts into something that you can use. Which is why the brutes dropping blueprints actually makes sense. I reckon this is a really good change. I didn't explain this well. And when I say a good change, it's a very subtle change. So like the way it works now is it's just triggering an upgrade at the end of each round. That was pretty temporary, it doesn't need to really be like that. But that's how it is. I reckon that's a great idea. How's it going, Nick? I think you just missed my great explanation. It was a really good explanation though. Kind of, not really. I have an idea for the game that makes the game make sense, and makes the enemies make sense, and makes the player make sense, and makes everything fall into place like beautiful puzzle pieces. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. And it's really no different. So that means that the characters that we need to create are just more robots. So we will need to create more variations of enemies based on this. We can also upgrade this and shit like that, but yeah. our player is just going to be a variation of this, basically. One day. But yeah. No, I've had a pretty decent day, man. I've just, not long started streaming, as you can see. I've been 5 minutes in, but, bloody, man, why is the chat so small on this one? I don't know why. Chat is tiny. But, yeah, it's Mother's Day here in Australia, so I've just been hanging out with my mama. For the last nine hours on top of 8 hours of school. God damn. Busy day, hey? It's only 2 PM for me, so I've not long woken up because I'm a lazy fucker and it's Sunday. And I stayed up really late last night trying to edit the the Oblivion video down. But God. But alright, so what are we going to do today? What is the actual plan? So, as it stands, which it stands pretty cool, actually, we've made a few different attack animations for the Brute. The current one is the coolest. Ready? Ready? And then he kills me. One thing... See how there's like a weird interaction between the enemy and the player? Yeah, see, like I'm like kind of standing on top of him, but not standing on top of him. All right, that we need to fix. And I had a little bit of inspiration for that as well, from the Oblivion remake that we've been playing. So one of the things in that is if you try as a player to jump on top of another another character, there's like a repel force. Like it like pushes you away, which makes a lot of sense. But I think that would work quite well here. So I'm gonna add just like another to-do list item that is where would we put it? It would be in bugs, I reckon. Add repel force for overlapping characters. Which I think would make a lot of sense. It would work quite well for this. But alright, so what we want to actually do is take those 3 different brute attacks and make them intelligent. Make them actually do smart things. An 18-hour workday is crazy, man. That's a rough one. I'm sure you're glad it's over, though. Isn't that a good feeling? To be finally done. Yeah, I don't work that long of a day. Yesterday was a lot of editing. I did a lot of that. I think I woke up at like... That doesn't count, though. It wasn't very physical. I woke up at, I think, 6:30 in the morning. I was streaming for 4.5 hours, playing Oblivion. And then I finished that, and then edited for like another... Well, edited till midnight. So... Yeah, almost 18 hours, I guess. But most of that was editing. And that's just 18 hours of being awake, not necessarily doing something every waking moment. And I got it edited. Well, not edited, but I got a massive amount of progress done. I managed to get through the entire 4.5 hours. I just tried to open it. I was going to show you. There's no point. But I did get a decent amount edited. I got all the way through the 4.5 hours and cut it down to anything that I might want to use for the final video, which is still 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I basically just halved the amount of footage, which, I mean, is good, but I wish I did a little bit better on the first step, but still. Oh, dude, I don't blame you. I'm sure your body feels dead. My body feels dead just from doing a day at my dad's shop and then going up to the skate park in the afternoon. Also, did I show you my sick-ass new trick that I got? Did you check it out in the Discord? I got a tray flip. I don't know if I showed anyone. I don't think anyone really showed up to my last stream. Everyone was in and out too quick for me to even think about it. But I got a new trick on my skateboard, and I was very proud of it. And I'm still very sore like 3 days later from getting it. My legs are fucked up, as in, like, I beat the shit out of my legs. Yeah, no, that's fair, man. I don't think I've posted it in the Discord yet, actually, either. Oh my god, Discord updating again. Ah, bloody Discord. Why are you never up to date? Why do you have an update every day? Like, it's... What's the team at Discord doing? Seriously. Like, does it require daily updates? Does it really? Alright. I don't think I actually have it posted. To be in stream chat. I might not, hang on. No, that's just me double kickflip there, the last one. Adjust my double kickflip, god. Double kickflip's also insanely cool. But, I got a new one, a different one again. I don't know, it's pretty cool. I think. Oh, and there's a picture of me cuddling up to the kitty cat, our big ginger kitty cat. Why not? That's fair enough, man. You get what you can after a busy ass day. Yeah, no, you're not cooking. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But alright, we'll look at the kitty cat first. Look at him. The big ginger boy. He's a big sook. We took these photos just to send to my dad because he used to have a big ginger cat that was an absolute sook. Kiwi, his name was, as in HQ. Right, this one. Bam! That's a tray flip. That's like 80% of a tray flip. So it's a 360 kick flip. The board's meant to do a full 360 and a kickflip, but it done probably like a, I don't know, 300 degree spin. Ooh, so close. That was it, but like shit. God, I'm really good at imitating myself, turns out. That was pretty spot on. Let's look at the double kickflip again. It's just good to watch. I just want to see that again. God damn it. It wasn't the best kickflip, but fuck, it made it look effortless, didn't I? Like, I barely jumped for that shit, mainly because I was just insanely tired. It's so good. I love it. It would be better if I could have got it higher and more horizontal. Like, the board sort of rockets a little bit. Like, yeah, see, it's very diagonal. That I don't like that. It would have been nicer if I got it more leveled off. But it just, the feet come back to it so well. It actually looked effortless. It wasn't. I was trying really fucking hard. I was just insanely tired. But yeah, that's the updates really. Cute kitty cat. There's another one around here somewhere. I was gonna say, any suspicious random shit in the back of Mum's caravan? But yeah. And there we are. Up to date. Alright. Now. This. Oh, figuring out this bit, eh? So, the enemy attacking an enemy jumping and doing all its bullshit is the brute AI here, and more specifically the brute engaging. So, the way I've set that up currently, you better all be working. Hang on, let's just quickly double check that We good? Okay. Good. Good, good, good. Just had to make sure that code editor opened up right. So, the problem is, we've got it set up now to, like, I've just sort of hacked in every single different animation. So, where are they? It's literally just going instant stop fire weapon. And then the weapon is a melee weapon. And this is where most of it's happening, I guess. Okay, so yeah. It's basically just picking an attack or jump right there. So a melee weapon is most likely going to have multiple attacks. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. So there are going to be two different kinds of... There are mainly going to be two different kinds of attacks here that we're doing. So... Imagine this is the brute, right? He's over here. This is the big boy. And then we got the player over here. So there are going to be two main enemy attacks, basically. There's three, but two of them are basically the same. So one of them is... Hang on, actually. We'll do the player first. My bad. My bad. My bad. I'm not great at using this paint shit. Alright, so here's the player. Alright. No. Good. God. Alright, and then the brute, the big bad enemy. So there's two main attacks. There's the up-close punches, where he just walks up to you and then beats the shit out of you. And then there's the other one, where he's all the way back here and jumps in to attack you. Right? Those are two very different things. So if you imagine the enemy from the top down, so imagine now this is the enemy, the blue, that creates two different attack ranges. Oops. We have sort of like the up close and personal attack range. And then we have the way, way out attack range that's like all the way out here. Okay, imagine that centered. God. How do you just scroll around on this board? You can't. Shift that way. Zoom. How do you go left? Control scroll? No. Shift scroll? No. Alt scroll? No. Alt shift scroll? No. Control alt scroll? No. Control shift scroll? Nothing. How do you fucking scroll sideways? Right click, paints. Left click, paints. Middle click, paints. Why? Why paint? Why are you so bad at navigation? Anyway, do we get the point? There's two different attack ranges for two different attacks. That we need to incorporate somehow. God, fuck you, paint. I'm mad now. And then this damage is pretty generic, just based off where the hand is, how much damage it's doing, and where the owner of the damage is coming from, so it doesn't attack itself. Because that was happening. It was doing a big jump attack, and then in the landing of the attack, it would just damage everything in its radius. That would include itself. So it has to be able to know how to not smack itself in the face, basically. So we do need different attacks and different ranges. How are we going to handle this? Now, we could consider this as multiple melee weapons, but that's kind of redundant, right? So I'm thinking a melee weapon can have multiple attacks. So when a weapon calls generic fire, for a gun it's firing a bullet. For a melee attack, it needs to know a little bit more, I'm guessing. Have a good one, Nick. I'll catch you later, man. I'm going to pretend you're still here because it's good to imagine that I'm talking to someone and explaining it to someone. That and you're a good litmus test for... Because I know you don't code. It is actually really good having someone here. Because I know you don't code. If I can explain something to you, then I know I'm doing a good job at explaining it. Because it's just... That's the level of explanation I need to give. But alright, so... A melee weapon is going to need a melee attack of some variety. Which I believe could possibly be its own thing. So what if we were to create a, That's all good, man. Yeah, have a good one. Catch you later. Alright, so what if we were to have another class in here that was a melee... I always had two L's. Melee attack. Right, and that it would have a public... I guess it would have a float for attack range. Actually, the fact that I'm adding attack range to a melee attack just means we're calling it range. So it needs a range, it needs a damage, because each different attack will have a different damage, presumably, or at least the ability to have a different damage. Should we... How are we going to do this? I'm just wondering, I was wondering about left and right hand. So a left hand attack and a right hand attack are two different things. So for something like melee... I think it would be better to have a damage origin. So we would have a transform, and that would be damage origin. So if it's a left hand, then you pass the left hand in. If it's a right hand, pass the right hand in. I think that makes the most amount of sense. Alright, what are we missing? So we have... we need a damage radius as well. So we have an attack range, we have a damage, an amount of damage, we have a damage origin. The mask is going to be the same for all of them. Hit area is a debug thing. Left and right hander is now sorted. So yeah, we just need a damage radius. Beautiful. Alright, what else are we missing? I think this will do us for now. So this is going to need a... we're gonna make a constructor for it, but... maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. So I'm thinking into this fire here. We're going to need a pass... So the brute AI, what is it doing? It's calling different voids based on different attacks. So jump, punch, heavy, different attacks. Always has to pass in... Yep, alright, so it doesn't... because the weapon doesn't know its owner. So you have to pass in the owner so that it doesn't attack itself. Okay, so this is basically just going... if it's not already attacking, and it can see the player, then attack every so often. Or at least try to attack every attack delay. So this is... none of this is based on distance. So what we're doing here is we're looking at weapon.fire for the melee here, and it's setting the trigger to jump. So the engagement between chasing the enemy and engaging the enemy is based on a distance. So what I'm thinking is that the brute might need a special chasing state, where during the chasing phase, it has the ability to launch itself at the player. So the brute engaging will be just up close. That'll be hand-to-hand shit. And then chasing will be... does that make sense? Does that make sense? Do we create a brute chasing class? I'm doing that in a dumb way where I'm modifying this every frame. I could just modify that. Yeah, that's dumb. Alright, fine. We'll change that. How does that normally work? It normally works a bit like this. Where'd I do it? Here. We just set the last attack time and then have an attack delay. So that would become... Hang on, wait, what do we call it again? Last attack time. So that'll be just last update time. Why'd I add spaces? God, I haven't been doing much coding this week, have I? Oh, I need to turn my heater off. It wasn't even a heater, that was on fan mode. Turn it back on then. Just getting fucking heated for no reason. Alright, so if last update time plus update rate is less than or equal to time.delta time? Yeah? Time.time, sorry. And then all we gotta do is say last update time equals time.time. So that shouldn't have changed that, right? I want to double check that that worked. I don't trust my coding abilities. Yeah, fine, we'll play Maximus. Why not? Why not? Ah. I reckon we definitely need some, just the impact isn't enough, you know? We need some, like, iframe, not iframes, what am I thinking about? like impact frames, you know? Like bam, cut a frame out there between there and down, so it's just like bam, like it really feels like it hits the ground, you know? We'll have to do that at some point. Alright, so yeah. It's a problem that he only knows how to attack. He only knows how to do one attack like that. Well, he knows how to do multiple. We need to get them strung together. So that worked. So yeah, I'm thinking... What if we just made everything shoot from a distance? So, if we were to just modify this enemy chasing to have like a long shot ability, where every now and then while running, maybe at a slower fire rate or something like that, it tries to fire at the player. So if it was just a regular foot soldier in that state, then it would be like a run and gun type action. Where while it's running towards you, it'll just check to see if it can shoot you and do it. And then in the case of the brute doing the exact same thing, it would check to see if it can jump at you and then do it. Which would get it closer. And then probably change it to the engaging state, and then in the engaging state we can worry about other attacks. Yeah, I think that could be it. So, as it stands now, like if we were to just hide the mutant and bring in the foot soldier, he will start off, look at me, and then shoot. Right? And then if I get out of his range, he won't shoot me anymore. See? Shooting me, shooting me, shooting me. See, there's no run and gun. Though he does run slightly faster than me, which is terrifying. So maybe they could have like a run and gun kind of thing. Or maybe in the weapon, we could have fire... No, a distant attack versus a close-up attack I don't like that, I don't think. For the gun. The thing I was thinking about actually is just... Do we have like a run and gun? Yeah, we do have a run and gun animation, don't we? Where are they? Characters. I don't think it'll be on the Mark II animation. Rifle idle aiming. Yeah, no, they're two animations. Do we have a run and gun on Crypto? Where would that be? Where the fuck is Crypto? Where's like the actual character model? In here. Okay. Crypto yeah, right. They're all packed into this one massive goddamn thing. That's right. Alright, do we have a rifle aiming forward, running gun? Kinda. Rifle Rifle sprint forward. I mean, we really should retarget that animation for the enemies. Okay, yeah, rifle running forward like that. It's hideous, but we could use that. Ooh, there's so much we can do. Alright, so we need to program in mid-range attacks. So, as far as... I think that's what we're going to do. As far as engaging is concerned, engaging the class, brute engaging, and also enemy engaging, which is essentially foot soldier engaging right here. This is essentially going to be close range attacking. That's redundant, right, for the gun? Because the only thing that changes from... The only thing that would change in the gun state, then, from between engaging and chasing, would be an animation. Which is stupid. So in the case of the foot soldier... we would just have to actually extend the more practical thing to do would be just to give it a moving shooting animation. So I didn't pause when it shot. And then that would solve the problem for the foot soldier. But that doesn't solve the problem for the brute. So maybe we're returning back to brute. A brute chasing class. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, having a unique brute chasing class, it does open up a little bit of possibility. So then, like, imagine we had a different enemy again that for some reason, like, say, had the ability to teleport. Their chasing class would basically be like a teleportation ability. So yeah, I think we need brute chasing. We'll keep generic enemy chasing, because I think that would be used in most cases. So we would need a brute chasing class, I believe. We'll start with the brute, and I will go over to here. And we're going to add another one over here. Add run and gun ability. Add run and gun to foot soldiers. I can't spell soldiers. I could not think of how to spell that. Alright, add run and gun to foot soldiers. That will be good. We can do that. Later. Not now. Later. Okay. Yes, so, brute chasing. Enemies. Enemy states. We need a brute chasing state. Up here. Brute chasing. It actually does make the most sense to do it this way, because the jump attack, while being an attack, is also massively a form of traversal. Whereas engaging never seems to be a moving thing. I don't know. Like, I do want there to be a difference between chasing and engaging, for the most part. But I think in the case of the brute having a long range and short range attack, this seems to make sense. Alright, so, enemy engaging. I think we're just going to take this entire class like that. And just plonk it in right there. So we're going to use UnityEngine.ai. This is going to be a brute chasing instead of an enemy chasing, and we're good. Alright, so we've basically just duplicated the function. It's now the exact same. Okay, the difference being, I want the brute to now use that function. Brute AI, enemy chasing, right there, done. That's all I had to do. The brute now should work exactly the same, except it's running its own script. So whatever change I make to that script won't affect the foot soldiers. And I'm dead. Alright, so that does work. Beautiful. Just have to check things every now and then, you know, otherwise shit dies. Alright, so as the brute is looking, brute chasing has a distance attack. So we need some way for every time it checks to see and update its target destination, we're going to also check and see if it can jump at the enemy. So we may want to later impose some limits on it. But, you know. Alright, yeah, so the melee weapon this is where it's calling the fire. So we are just going to need so in the enemy engaging here, just those instance.fire weapon. Do we have an instance in this one? No, we do not. That's not what I meant to do. We need to add that to this. Man, gotta hit him with a this. Alright, like that. So now the brute chasing has a reference to itself. And by itself, I mean the previous thing. And we're going to take that and use it. Do we do specifically brute AI? Yeah, brute AI. Like that. And because I'm lazy, I'm copying that line right there. Right, just take in a brute AI. What was I doing there? Yeah, dumbass. I'm sitting there going like, oh, do I cast it? No, just plug it in. Alright, so right here, we're going to create another function, which is going to be check for distance attack or something like that. Try for distance attack. Which would be better spelt as attempt. And rather than distance attack, I'm just going to make a jump attack. Alright, beautiful. So we are going to need a way to pass in and ask this instance.fire weapon function. Or oh, I've got it. Okay, so we can just call the generic instance.fire. So in the brute chasing, I think I'm going to call Right? I'm not even going to do the attempt jump attack. Okay, so that's just going to do its thing. So as it stands now, that would mean that it would just attempt to do whatever attack it's being programmed to do. So that would just attack, set the trigger for attack jump. So we want to change it in melee so that with this. So the melee attack, or the attack range, needs to be different. So rather than being a range, it needs to be a min range and a max range. So there's obviously, in the jump attack, there's going to be a max distance that it can jump from, and then there's going to be a minimum distance it can jump from. So if it's too close to the player, it won't choose that attack. Haha. Aha. Alright, so now we need to figure out the different attacks. We need to set those attacks up as melee attacks. Should I believe the best way to do this would be to system.serializable, expose this as a class, and we'll just have a list of these. So that this can be, we'll just have a list of melee attacks that can be assigned in the inspector. That might be the easiest way to do it. Yeah, I think that would be the easiest way to do it. So for that, I would put it at the top here, and we'll just say serialized field is going to be an array of melee attacks. Yeah, and it was just called attacks, something like that. Yeah. So that way we can modify the damage radius, all that. Yeah. I was going to put a constructor in there, but I don't think we're going to need one. Alright. That should be there now. Mutant melee has a list of attacks now. Beautiful. Okay. So that is going to have 3 different attacks. Just for the sake of my sanity, we're going to have a public string name. Attack name. For no reason. They need names, though. So we're going to say jump attack. Jump, punch. And heavy, right? Something like that. Doesn't really need to be named much more specifically than that. Okay, just to aid in setting up these numbers here. Well, actually, a couple of these numbers I can set up pretty easy. So like jump damage radius 3. Damage radius 1. Damage radius 1. I don't know if damage origin is necessary, is it? Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out somehow, actually. Hmm. So there's a little bit of a barrier there because we have the animator here, sorry. If this makes any sense, I have no idea. The way the attacks work is, so this is one attack. This is a punch attack, right? So it's the attack combo. And then there's attack heavy and attack jump. Specifically the combo. Maybe it's in the attack behavior. Just trying to remember where I call for what damage. So is attacking. Okay, no, it's not there. It's in the animations, right? Yeah, in here it's calling punch attack, which is going into the brute AI. So yeah, the idea for this, or for this, is it's not exactly set up for like a combo attack. So like a combo attack would have multiple damage origins for each punch. So it'd be a left punch, then a right punch, then a left punch. So if you were triggering that as a melee attack, this becomes invalid. So a combo doesn't fit this framework that we've created here. So how do we make... What do we change to make it fit? Do we modify this to accommodate combos? Or... do we modify the way it does combos? So maybe I take this out. I think I'll maybe just take this out, take that out. So we have the different attacks. Attack combo, gone. We're going to make another transition to there. And then we're going to go attack, punch, left. God damn it, I can't even see that I spelled that right. And attack, punch, right. Alright, so and then attack, punch, left is going to be here. And attack, punch, right on the other one. Wow, who could have saw that coming? So, are they good on the settings? One of them's different for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah, no fucking clue. Doesn't matter. these need to just go back and there. Yeah, at the end of the animation. Nice. Alright, so that'll be now how it does combos. It'll have 4 different attacks. It'll have a jump, a heavy, a right, and a left. And then it'll just get to pick at random, I think, for the most part. Yeah. Alright, so now how do we associate all of those with the right things? Each of those animations so I guess we would have a current attack. Sorry, my brain. I think I'm going a little bit too. I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. All right, let's rewind a little bit. So what I want to do to help set up these attacks, we need something to dial in the radiuses, and the damages are quite easy, but we need something to help dial in the radiuses. So we're going to do the show hit area here. Let's spread this out a little bit. So this is what we got. The new attacks. We got the new, not the new, but we have the show hit area. We want to do int attack index. So we want to debug whatever index for whatever attack we want to do. Make sense? So we want to go like this. We're gonna delete this one. We're gonna, yep, if it doesn't show hit area, then return. Good. If color.blue, then draw the left hand position and the punch radius. So we're gonna modify that to draw. We're gonna hang on. Quickly do this just to say if attacks is more than or equal to if it's more than attack index, so that way we know we have it, right? So if it's 0, if the attack index is 0 and the attacks is higher than that, okay, yeah, cool, and we need to do length. My bad. All right. Alright, so if the attacks.length not return, then we want to come in and actually do something. We want to draw that attack index, I believe. So if the attack index that we're trying to draw is valid, then we're going to go in here and we're going to draw a blue circle at the position of attacks at the attack index, damage origin, damage radius. Man, I've been putting stank on the S's today, haven't I? Ah. There. I think it has to be a transform so that it updates with the thing. Yeah, I don't think we can just pass the position into a vector 3 and have that update. I I think I need to give it a transform. Give it a reference. Something to actually reference a new position each frame. Or when it needs it. Alright, so that is the attack range. No, sorry, the damage origin and the damage range. So that is going to be where it hits. And then we need to draw a minimum and maximum radius for attacking. So we're going to do green for minimum. And blue for maximum. And we're going to say... Zay... I think for these ones we can just do from transformed opposition. It doesn't really matter where we're going from, or where we're drawing the circle from. The main thing is going to be the min range and max range. Why did I even bother doing that? Min and max range. Like that. Alright, so that should allow us to actually see what we're working with here. But for the most part, we are just transferring the old data. So, if we look at the mutant, and we go in and look at these, what do we got? Alright, so we're doing the jump. Show hit area? Oh, wait, turn gizmos on. There we go, hang on. No? Where are they? What are you mad at me for? Oh, right, you're doing the damage origin first. Okay, fine. Yeah, we'll add this in there anyway, just to make sure. There we go. Beautiful. Now it shouldn't get mad at us about that. Good, beautiful. Okay. So there we go. We have a minimum range that's being showed and a maximum range that's being showed. And if we change this to 1, it's now this one. Alright. Good. Let's set up the jump range. So what did we have that set up as before? I don't think we had it really set up. We had a jump attack damage, engage range set to 15. So, in order to jump at the player, we want the min range to be... We don't want it to jump while it's close, so we want that to be like way out there, and then we want the max to be like way out here. So everywhere within this area, he could jump at the player, right? I think 15 maybe is a good... Ooh, should it be... Nah, further, right? 20. And then the min range is definitely going to be like 10. So there's going to be a 10 unit sort of circle around the player where the enemy's going to be able to jump from. Alright? And that's going to do a shit ton of damage. It's going to be 100 damage. Jump, and it's probably coming from what? Left hand? Yeah. Alright. And then 1. Does he have thumbs? Okay, I guess. Interesting. I was just looking at the names of those. Right pinky and index and thumb. So, we're going to have 2 of these. It's going to be a left punch and a right punch. Except that way. So min range. I guess is 0. And then the maximum range that it can punch from is going to be around there, I suppose. .5. The damage for a punch, 25. The damage radius. Hang on, punch left. Need the left hand. Be about that. So it'll swing that giant red ball around and then see if that red ball hits us. Basically. And that'll be punch left. So then if we duplicate that. Punch right will be the same, except we put the right hand in. Oh, hang on. What are you doing? Why are you still saying punch left? What? Punch right? Yeah, what the fuck just happened? It just didn't serialize that for some reason. Serialization just went on a break. Alright, so 0 for the jump attack. And then we have 1 for the left hand attack. And then we have 2 for the right hand attack. And then we're going to have 3 that doesn't exist yet. So, add it. And that's going to be the heavy attack. Awesome. Which is coming from the left hand. For 1, I know that much. The range damage is just going to be 100. So it's going to be more or less the same. Maybe a little bit bigger of a radius. Yeah, why not? Just to fuck with people that think they know exactly how the game works. Alright, so that's 4 potential different attacks that an enemy could do, or that this brute enemy could do specifically. So, if I now... Hang on, what if I set this to -1? Yeah, outside of the array, hey? Alright. I'm not going to code for that. Fuck you. This is my own dumbassery. Let's just turn that off. Turn gizmos back off again anyway, just to give us a bit more of a pleasant viewing experience. Alright, where are we at? What's the next step? Now that we have those references, the brute chasing is going to be calling the fire weapon every so often. The brute engaging is also calling the fire weapon, though it's doing it every frame. And that is just going to be setting an attack trigger. Alright. I probably should have made this name be the exact attack trigger that we're using. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So in this fire method, it's going to loop over every potential attack. And try and do it, right? Maybe. Fire takes in a target. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. My brain just fried for a second there. So yeah, in the fire weapon, I think it should just try and see which one it can do. Just see if it has a... Basically just see if it has a valid attack that it can do, if it has a jump attack, if it's within the radius, within its min and max radius of any of its attacks, then do one of them. The only problem I'm foreseeing there is that I would like it to be semi-predictable. So, if we were to just make it randomly pick an animation, or pick a random attack based on whichever range it's valid in, all three punch attacks, the heavy, the left, and the right, are all going to be valid at the same time. So those sorts of attacks I'm thinking... Yeah, those sorts of attacks. I don't want to be picking randomly between them. Ideally, I would like it to go... If it's just punched left, then I would like it to punch with its right. And if it's just punched right, I would... Or if it hasn't done a heavy attack in a while, then I would like it to do that. Which way should we go about doing this, hey? I'm not sure. So one idea that I was having was maybe I could add them to a queue. So basically, like, I'm just going through a queue of the next attack, the next attack, the next attack, the next attack. And we could just loop over that queue. Or maybe we could split it up. So rather than having a list of all attacks, we could have a list of mid-range attacks, short-range attacks, and long-range attacks. So as we then expand the different kinds of enemies, some enemies may not have any close-range attacks. Though the code wouldn't necessarily need to change based on this. They would just... How do we do this? How do we do this? God, it's all so complicated, isn't it? I'm thinking the idea of having mid-range and long-range. I think that works. Because then we could just set the no, we couldn't. We could just have a bull that just says use right hand or use left hand. No, that doesn't make sense either. What are you doing, Ranky boy? Yeah? My cat's come over to say good day. It's about 3 p.m. Ranky. You got another like half hour or about an hour till it's dinner time for you. Yeah, I know. You're already hungry, aren't you? Because life, you're withering away to a shadow, aren't you? You're just so tiny and skinny, all skin and bones. God, your fucking breath stinks. Holy crap! I need to take you to the vet. That's actually really bad. Jesus Christ, you haven't eaten yet. That's like the whole thing we're talking about. God damn that. Don't be doing that then. Don't be looking at me and nudging your way onto my lap. No, you little turd. I'm busy. God damn, look at all the scratches all over me from the kittens. Beating the piss out of me. I'm having another Billy because I'm crazy. Having 2 for good luck. 1 for each hand, as my grandma would say. I need to think more about this. How does this make sense? So, another problem I was realizing is if we were to have mid-range and short-range, we have 3 different short-range attacks. We have left hand, we have right hand, and we have heavy. Basically what that means is we have left hand, we have right hand, and we have left hand. If we put those in a list and run through that list, that's left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. Like, that's not how you would fight in real life. You would never throw 2 right hands and then a left, and then 2 rights and a left. If anything, it'd be right, left, right, left. That's just how. So, So maybe short range. we need to have like 2 different lists for right hand attacks and left hand attacks, maybe. So maybe we So the Jesus Christ, sorry, now I'm coughing. So the AI needs to know what is a right hand attack, what is a left hand attack. It needs to be, and we need to have a list somehow. Rack, you gotta go away, buddy. Actually, I really need to pee, so I'm gonna have to go do that. And then I suppose I'll just feed the starving cat an hour early, because he's gonna die if I don't. Look at him. Oh, look at you. You're dying, aren't you, buddy? No, don't get on. That's not an excuse to come get on my lap. No, I got a keyboard on my lap and drinks and shit. No, fuck off. No, back up. I can't even push him away because I have a lid in my hand. And I don't want cat fur all over the lid. God, come on, shithead. Back the fuck up. Let's go. Come on. Come on, come on. Come on, that way. Jesus Christ, hang on. Let me put up the be right back sign. Do I have the be right back sign on this? I don't. Hang on. Hang on. Alright, bloody hell, I'm back. God, I need Jess to drop in. I need my coding duck. Where is he? It's been a while. Actually, I think he dropped in like last weekend. Oh, it was a gaming stream, that one. It wasn't coding. I need my duck. Alright. Back to this. So, maybe an idea I just had there was maybe each attack could have suggested next attacks. So for like a left-hand attack, it would suggest a right-hand attack next, if applicable. Yeah. But I also need to make this efficient, so it needs to run well. Alright, so how is this going to work? This is it currently. How is this going to work down here? So, every frame, we need to figure out what attack to do, right? So there are a million different ways that we could do this. I want to avoid looping through this attack array too often. Ideally, we don't do it much. How? So I think we need 2 more of these. So I think we need a always 2 E's. So we need a melee attack, current attack, and next attack. Which is basically going to be a suggested attack, right? So we'll say if there is already a suggested attack, if next attack doesn't equal null, if has suggested next attack, do that. So if next attack doesn't equal null, then we're going to do that melee attack. Alright, we don't know how I'm going to actually trigger this yet. I haven't figured out a way to actually trigger this information yet. But that's fine. I guess we're going to have another void that would be attack. Actually, it'd be perform attack. And then that would take in an attack action. Attack. What is it called again? A melee attack. 2 L's again. Alright, like that. Perform action. Next attack. So I think maybe every attack should have an index, or should have like a list of integers which basically are other references to other attacks. Is this getting too convoluted? I might be getting too convoluted with this. I'm just trying to avoid looping through a thing. Alright, so I think I do want close range attacks. And then I want to do long range. Should be just basically the jump attack. No. Yeah, no, it needs to be multiple. It needs to be more generic in this. Right, I'm just gonna delete this for now. Okay, so, before we do that, I want to say, figure out which range is in. No, because every attack's gonna have different ranges. Oh, man. Okay, the only thing I can think of is for the first step. Yeah, no, I think it needs to be generic attacks. I think step 1 is going to be to loop over every attack that it can possibly do and find the valid ones. I think I'm going to have to do that. I don't think I have a choice. Oh, I was trying to make this performant as well as just work is a pain in the ass. So, yep, find valid attacks. We're going to have to loop over all of the attacks dot length, like that. Oh, it's gonna be doing this like every frame, man. That's so much work. I know it's only 4 things, but like, it's too much to be doing every frame. Okay, not every frame, but like, still. Okay, yeah, no, it's not every frame. I feel like there's definitely something to the valid next attacks type thing. I think my problem is I'm trying to bridge the gap between generic and specific. So, in something like the melee weapon, it needs to be generic, because there are going to be multiple different kinds of melee, well, there could be multiple different kinds of melee weapon. There isn't currently. Fuck, eh? Alright, no, okay. So what if we do the if has... Well, good. Okay, so what if we do if has suggested attack, do that, where we just say if next attack doesn't equal null, then do that and return. And then if it doesn't have a next attack, then we'll go through and find a new attack to do. Find random attack. Alright, and maybe we'll do an int for last attack. Index equals 0. And then we'll just say int index equals I plus the last index start. So the last attack index would be 0 by default, so it would just be, but if the last attack index okay, no, so if it chose the first thing last time, I always want to start after the last index that I started at. You know what I mean? So I need to offset it. How does that math work? So if I chose the third element last time, I want to start at the fourth and continue on from there. So it would be +1, and then I'm going to need to mod all of that. Mod attacks.length. I believe. So that way we don't just do the next next attack. Find next valid attack. So yeah, so it's going to start there. And loop through all of them again. Okay, I think that works. So, and then we're going to go we need another function down here where we'll say bool is valid attack. Where it's also going to pass in a melee attack. And it's going to be a true or false to see if it's good. And then if it is, we're just going to perform that attack. So up here, if next attack doesn't equal null, then we're going to perform next attack. And then if we don't have a next attack, then we're going to go down here and basically pick the next one in line. Nope, sorry, not like that. We're going to say if is valid attack attacks.index then perform that attack and return. Like that. That should work. We just need to write these two functions here to decide what is a valid attack, and then how do we perform that attack. So, the way we're performing that attack currently is just triggering the animation. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's figure out what is a valid attack. So, essentially all a valid attack is checking the range. So, we can check the range from the weapon, I guess. In this case, melee weapon is attached to the object, so it's fine. Referencing this as transform, the brute AI transform, or the melee transform, same thing. It'll give us the same answer. I need a drink, hang on. Alright. God, I'm talking too much. I'm losing my voice. So it is a valid attack if we need to check the square dist to target. We need a transform for the target. Target, the attack, hang on, just underscore these. Alright, so we're going to throw in here target, which we already have reference to from here, right? Nope, it is a position. Works the same. We were going to use transformed opposition anyway. Okay, so the square distance to target is going to be attack.origin, damage origin. Actually, no. Sorry, it's just going to be transformed opposition. So B minus A. We need the distance for... Oh, it doesn't really matter the distance. Anyway, we'll just do target minus... Target minus position, and we want dot square magnitude. Alright, so that is the square distance to target from where we're at. Now, we want to say if we are further away than the minimum distance and closer than the maximum distance, then that is a valid attack. So, if square distance to target is more than attack dot min range times attack dot min range, because we need to square it, then we're within the min range. And we got to make sure that we're less than the maximum range. So if we're more than or equal to that, and less than or equal to the max range, then return true. And if we make it all the way through and didn't pass the check, then return false. A better way to do this might actually be to just say if the square distance is less than the square, as the distance to the target is less than the minimum range, then we're too close. So return false. And then do the same here. If the square distance is more than the maximum distance, then we're too far. So return false again. And then return true if we're good at the end. Yeah. So that way if we're wrong, we get out of there. We don't even make further checks. Oh no, the last way we did it probably does the same shit. I don't think it really makes a difference. Alright, is valid attack is working. So we need to perform the attack. So currently, I reckon, Sorry, I blanked out for a second there. Alright, so the main thing we're doing currently is just setting the trigger. Which is just this. Essentially, attack.name. Well, that's how we're going to set it up. So that will trigger the right animation. Now that animation is going to look at this fire weapon. Wait, what is that going to look at? Hang on. I can't remember now. So those animations, look at events. Those events are the heavy attack function attached to the object. So that is calling this function right here. So I reckon we could remove all of these and then make it so that we have a... Actually, yep, let's do it. Let's take out all of these. And then we're going to just go... We're going to call this trigger damage. Trigger attack damage. And we're just going to go connect with the weapon as melee and call the damage function. This is going to have a lot more in it that we can fix. Okay, let us copy this. just to keep a copy of it. Always good practice. Alright, damage. We want to take out all of this. Jump attack. We probably want to keep it to transform for self so we don't attack itself. Alright. Then when we perform the attack, where is that one? Right here. We're going to set current attack equal to attack. So when we perform the damage, we're going to be looking at the current attack that's active. So we're looking for position, which is going to be current attack dot damage origin right there. Dot position. Get rid of all that. Damage radius. Current attack dot damage radius. Get rid of that. Colliders, and then we're going to do current attack dot damage down here. And that's it. So then the brute AI only needs to add reference to itself. Which it doesn't really need to do that there either. We can literally just go like this. There. Because the melee is attached to the same object, so it's getting the same transform. And there it is. That's the new damage function. Also, we want to change this to not just try for a next attack, to not just automatically perform it, see if next attack is valid, and if it is, perform that attack. Else, set next attack equal to null. So we tried it, we failed. Never mind. We'll try we'll random one next time. This might work. So the only thing we're not... Okay, so we're not doing any of this next attack function. It's never getting set so far. So all we're going to be doing is checking... Every time it tries to fire a weapon, it's going to be checking for a valid attack and performing that attack. Which is setting the current attack to that attack, and then trying to set the trigger for it. And then automatically the triggers should be setting the... Yeah. Okay, so... This should work. The main thing that we need to do is we need to go into these events here. That one. It needs to be renamed to trigger attack damage. U for punch. Right hand punch. So you're good. You're good. You're good. And then the jump attack. Right there. Trigger attack damage. Because we now just assign the attack and all that information is within the attack. Okay. Let's try play this. Let's see what happens. It's been a minute. He's running at me. He stopped. Ah! Right, okay. So he's tried to jump at me. But I didn't set the names properly. So, we want to go over to mutant. This is going to be attack, jump. Attack, punch right. The attack, punch left. Jesus Christ. Attack, punch left. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Right. And attack heavy. Alright, they should be all spelled the same. Now, right? Attack, jump. At the top. Attack. Left, then right, then heavy, right? Yep, left, right, heavy. Attack heavy, attack punch right, attack punch left. Okay, I'm pretty sure those are correct. Now let's see what happens. Oh, oh, he's jumped at me. I'm in his range now. So we tried one hit. I'm out of his range. In his range. Okay, well, he tried 2 different attacks. That's a start. Alright, well that didn't entirely work, did it? Okay. What happened? Did we get any console logs? No, we didn't. Okay, so the brute chasing hasn't changed. I actually think I'm going to delete that script. I've got a bit better of an idea of how I think I want to do this now. It's taken us a minute, but we're getting there. So, we don't want the brute chasing. Yes, I know, you're not happy with that. So we're going to turn that back into enemy chasing. Just a generic chasing. We don't need this, we just need the agent, the player, and the material thing that we don't have yet. That's just for aesthetic that don't really do anything. At this point... Okay. So it's in the engaging that we're going to have... this. So... we're going to keep it as a large range as we had before. And what's Kensei player doing? It's just setting whether or not it can see the player. Sorry, I don't know why I needed to check that. I just felt like I did. We'll leave it for now. Okay, so what I want it to do in engaging is constantly be looking towards the player. It's probably not the good way to do this. Because, like, we do have ways to turn... Wait, hang on. Can we do just, like, anim.look at? How would you do that properly? This is a bit of a detour. I just wanted to use its its animations to turn a little bit, you know? How do we do that? Yeah, no, it's doing just some weird shit. I don't know how to modify that. I don't know. Alright. So... I guess I wanted to continue chasing the enemy as well. So I'm going to take this, put it into here. At 2. Right, so that's moving it towards the player. So we always want it to move towards the player unless it breaches its agent stopping distance, which will be right up next to the player. If instance dot is attacking, do I have access to that? Oh, I don't. It's not inherited. I guess I'll just make a accessor for it. Public bill. Wait, what am I doing? Oh my god! Public pool is attacking. Get return is attacking. Like that. Oh, okay. Never mind. I was just looking at that and I was like, what the fuck? How do I not get that? What am I not getting that from? We need the brute AI. There it is. Alright, so if it is attacking, then we want it to look at the player, like that. So that defeats the purpose of this. Oh, actually no, we can just do this. Right? I think I'm getting a little bit tired. I've been doing this a little bit for a while now. How are we at? 2 hours. Oh god, that's not much. There's a lot of thinking there. Okay. So it's trying to fire its weapon all the time. Which is, I suppose, is okay. If it's already attacking, then don't bother trying to fire the weapon, I suppose. Yeah, and only try and... No, not there, not there. We'll put that there, because that's already on a timer, the fire weapon. Alright, let's see what this does. Oh, right. So there's some shit that I don't need now in this brute AI. Like all of those. What else is there that I don't need? Oh yeah, that one. All these. Beautiful. Oh, I love it when I get to destroy everything. Feels good. Alright. So let's see what he does. He should run. He should jump. Bam! Oh, and then he's probably hitting us. Oh! Okay, no, okay, he did that once. He chased us once for a little bit. Alright, where'd he get stuck? Oh, we're getting there. Alright, what's up, buddy? What you doing? How you doing? Where did you get stuck? Ah, you still think you're attacking. So is attacking's never being set to false. If I run far enough away. No, okay, so is attacking needs to be set back to false somehow. Why isn't that already? I thought that would be a thing that is happening. Ah! I remember. So, is attacking is a thing that was being called in here somewhere. Turn this back to normal mode. Jump attack behavior. Final attack behavior here is, I believe, what's doing it. Setting is attacking to false. Attack behavior. On enter. So like most of these would need both, right? Alright, well, let's just merge these because they no longer need to exist like this. Like that. This can just go into attack behavior. Oh, right, it was already there. I just didn't even read the line. Alright, so this is what we're going to use. We're going to remove the other behavior. And jump attack is the special one that actually tracks towards the player. So that's fine. That needs to be like that. That's how it actually jumps forward. So it's doing its thing, right? On exit and on enter. Beautiful. Yeah, I'll just let that be one behavior. I don't think I need to add two to it. But all of these now have attack behaviors back on them. So it should be resetting attack behavior each time. So now we just don't need, where are they? States, animation behaviors. We don't need this final attack behavior. Not being used anymore. This has actually been a good stream. I have actually done pretty well at talking this time. And explaining what I'm doing and explaining my forethought and everything. Oh God, it all falls apart right as I start trying to brag. Jump! Hit me! Now chase me! And attack! And then chase me! And then attack! And then chase me! Attack! And chase me! Okay, you just picking the same attack every time? Hit him with the left hook, eh? My bad. Alright, you're going with a sturdy left punch every time, hey? Ah! Sorry, brute AI. Where was it? Sorry, not the attack behaviors. Jump attack behaviors, go away. Engage, here. Nope, sorry, melee, over here. Where it performs the attack. I added this last attack index right here. So right here, where we perform the attack, I'm going to say last attack index equals index. So that should make it do the next attack next time. So now it should cycle. So now it should go left, right, heavy, back to left. It should skip over jump because it's invalid. So jump at me. Yeah, bam. And then it's gonna left, right, heavy, bam. And then it would have jumped, but it didn't. Oh, yes. I feel like it should jump forward on the heavy attack a little bit. Like it should do like a little whoop and jump forward at me. And then if I get far enough away, it should do the... Oh my god, I can't get far enough away. He's too quick. Oh no! I can't get away from him! I want him to jump at me! Son of a bitch. You're not gonna do it, are you? Oh, he did it! He had to get back into range. Oh, it's getting there. It's getting there. God damn, I'm happy. That's awesome. That's awesome. We've got a brute that works. Whee! I think I'm happy to leave it like that. Left, right, heavy works for me. And then when he just gets into open range, bam. That works perfect. It's perfect. The animations themselves need slight refinement, and like, that's perfect. Everything that needs to be there is there. It needs refinement, a little bit of refinement, but everything that's there is already there. And that is beautiful. That is brute behavior. We have done it. Hell yeah. We got one viewer this entire stream, and this is by far my best coding stream. This stream has actually given me confidence to continue doing these streams. I don't care that I got no viewers. I really don't. I would like to, but this stream feels like a proof of concept that I can actually explain shit as I'm going. Obviously, I can do better than I did, but that is massive that I've done as good as I have. This song sucks. But alright, I think I'm going to pretty much leave it there for now. So, brute attack variation, done. So we do need to handle we need to redesign it. We need to handle the death. I don't know if I want to do its death currently, because it's quite tied into the robot model. As we continue to work on this game, we are rapidly getting towards a time where we might need to just spend a couple days making robots. I reckon that was some good progress. I don't know. What do we want to do? Like, do we want to keep working on it? Actually, the next thing we need to do is add brute spawning. Yeah. All this stuff here, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to implement. So like the player is a remote controlled robot, that's just changing the character model. That's really just a headcanon type thing. So enemies drop parts. That's going to have to be a thing we code. Parts can be used between rounds to upgrade the player. That's going to have to be something we figure out. Either we just trigger that anytime, or we have to go back to a workbench to trigger it. And then special enemies, I think, would be... I'm not sure. But I think now that I've actually got that brute more or less where I want it, I think before I add brute spawning, I think I might need to add some more enemies. I think that might be the next step. It's just to add more enemies. So, Or maybe we could just figure out a better spawning setup. Some better spawning code that's a bit more expansive. Easier to, like, add more new enemies into. That's also possible. But either way, I think I'm going to leave it for here because I need to, just go exist in life and do some things. But thanks for watching. Mostly Nick, who is my Discord mod. Bloody champ, isn't he? But anyone else that ever ends up maybe watching the VOD, who knows. Anyway, catch us later. See ya.